Darren here, and on today's episode of WoTC Academy, we're going to discuss the wheeled vehicles mechanic that you will encounter on some of the upcoming wheeled light tanks. Again, just pointing out that not every wheeled vehicle is going to have this special mechanic, so when you do eventually get to these special wheeled vehicles, I want you to be aware of how they work and the benefits that you may or may not have with the this new suspension system. I am omitting, this is not a general overview of the wheeled lights. This is only focusing on the mechanic itself, and I'm doing this because that is a complete video in itself of the differences between wheeled lights and regular lights. And again, this is a mechanics explained video. Your view range or your camo rating has no implication on the actual mechanic itself. So we're going to get started right away with the main bits that you need to know about this mechanic, and then the difference between the console version and the PC version, and then you guys are going to take a look at some PC clips that I spliced together that do a much better job of visually explaining how the mechanic works than you listening to me drove on about them. So starting right away, how does the mechanic work? Well, it behaves pretty much like every other mechanic in how it is activated by left on the D-pad, or I believe down on the D-pad if you are using the driver setup. This mechanic behaves a little bit more towards the Polish mediums, if not almost an exact copy, but unlike the Polish mediums where you have to come to a complete stop, you can actually activate this mechanic on the move. Now, when you activate by default, when you start the game, you're going to be in travel mode. That is when all wheels are touching the ground. And you will have greater maneuverability and greater on-the-move accuracy, but you will have less speed. And then when you activate the mechanic, you'll go into speed or rapid mode, whichever you want to call it, where you have your middle wheels have gone up. They're no longer touching the ground. You'll have greater speed, but you'll have less maneuverability and less on-the-move accuracy. Now, I do want to point out that this may be a bug. It may not be a bug. We don't know yet. But when you switch between modes, you can do it on the move. You do not have to come to a stop. But you will notice that your vehicle slows down a little bit in the activation process, but you don't come to a complete stop. You can still move, but you do slow down a little bit enough to notice it. Moving on to the wheels themselves, when damaged, they will repair in the order that they are damaged. If you are shooting the wheels, you can take out multiple wheels at once. It just depends on how the round behaves against the wheeled light itself. Without using a repair kit, it is a 12-second base repair time. And when these wheels are repaired, they are when they are initially taken out and destroyed. When they repair automatically, they are repaired to a full, complete state. There is no damaged state in for these wheeled lights. And if you do use a repair kit on these lights, all destroyed wheels will be repaired to full health automatically. Moving on to fall damage here, some of you may be pleased to know that wheeled lights can fall from heights that normally would kill any other regular tank. It just depends on how you fall. If your vehicle does contact the ground, like your chassis physically touches a hard surface before the wheels do, you will take damage. But in general, I have noticed that you'll survive your jump, but you may take way less health than a normal tank would. Pretty much take away from it. You have a greater chance of surviving than dying if you just decide to run off like a cliff, like on mines. Now, the console and PC difference here that I want to point out is that many of you may be aware that the PC has a lock-on feature. We do not have that. Well, we do, but we do not actually have it as a lock-on feature. Basically, their lock-on feature is our auto-aim. So we've already had the lock-on feature. It's just been a default setting for us. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up the important bits of information you need to know about the wheeled lights. I do want to provide a disclaimer, though, with these vehicles that these are not meant for everyone at all. If you've ever driven a car, you know that for the most part how these behave. They do not behave like normal tanks. And the average player, Joe Schmo, made up name right there. If you are an average player, these are not made for you. I have come to a very quick conclusion that these are made for people that are either masochists, love a challenge, or are really, really good at the game and just need something else to grind here. So, yeah, stay away from these if you are not comfortable messing around with a very difficult driving system. Other than that, we are now going to go and take a look at the visual guides that I've spliced together. That should do a much better job of visually explaining the mechanic for you. So, let's go take a look.
Wheeled vehicles are very much unlike tracked ones. So much so that wheeled vehicles players will have to learn to drive again. One of the most obvious reasons why is the inability of the wheeled vehicles to turn around in one spot. We drive up to the position, back up, go forward, turn the wheels the other way, repeat the maneuver, and...
Gosh! I can feel myself getting older. Yes, these wheelers can't turn around in one spot, but it never had to. These are wheels after all. You want to drive into a bush and fire from there? You drive up to it properly. And if you want to flee, you don't have to turn at all.
Let's discuss the eight-wheeler's features. This French vehicle has two movement modes, cruise and rapid. You can switch between them with the X key, but you can rebind it in the settings menu to any one you like. Cruise mode doesn't boast the fastest speeds, but the maneuverability is great. And rapid mode is called rapid for a reason. The eight-wheeler can hit up to 80 kilometers an hour with it. It helps reach those important positions faster. But it will be harder to avoid collisions. To drive in this mode, you will have to be careful. Let's go back to this term, careful. It's possible to maneuver the Panhard when in rapid mode. Hard, but still possible. You'll just have to get the hang of the vehicle, so to say. If you let go of the forward key at full speed while still pressing right or left, the wheels will turn further, which will help your turning radius decrease. Release your inner racer and let it help you find the perfect angle of getting into a corner. Something like this. Also, maneuvering on a bumpy ground can be tricky. Some wheels can lose traction and the vehicle will start drifting. By the way, the wheeler's survivability not only depends on the enemy missing their shots. The vehicle's wheels were developed with efficient pursuit escaping in mind. Simply put, they are damaged in a different way than tracks. With one wheel damaged, your vehicle will not stop. You might not even notice it if you are driving forward at a considerable speed. However, the more wheels that are damaged, the worse the vehicle turns and accelerates. The wheels repair automatically. Fully, by the way, not just to the yellow state. The repair kit repairs all wheels at once. The vehicle's suspension is its other survival assistant. You can fall from a greater height than tracked vehicles before your wheels start taking any fall damage. This lets the Panhard perform jumps that others can't do. Again, it's about how careful you are. If the vehicle's hull touches the ground after the fall, you will receive damage.
And that concludes today's video. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy.